Right guys, time to start our journey on what could arguably be the most difficult career mode series to date. And those that joined me for the RTG last year will know the suffering that we had in the lower leagues trying to guide Solihull Moors from the National League to Champions League and Premier League glory. But this one could be even more interesting, as I've not only built #United's roster, I've also inserted them into League 2. Unfortunately, Stevenage had to make way for them though, and they lost out in a vote that you guys had in a recent poll on Twitter. And for anybody that is joining me and don't know about #United, they were formed in 2016 and are currently in the 9th tier of English football, plying their trade in the Essex Senior Football League. And one of the reasons why I think that this career mode is going to be extremely difficult is that I've tried to make the current roster quite accurate. And in that respect, most of the team have overall ratings in the 40s. So that really is the first hurdle we'll have to jump, as League 2 teams should have somewhat of a head start on us in that respect. But to make things even more difficult, our budget is frankly absurd. We've got less than £400,000 in the tank. So going out and buying the likes of Ronaldo and Messi are simply not going to happen. Certainly not in the first few years at least. And due to the fact that we've got such lowly rated players, I decided to make a mod for the Youth Academy too. Because to be quite frank, it is massively overpowered this year, and I had to nerf it quite significantly to make it anywhere near the kind of level we needed for it to be realistic alongside the #career. For example, 1-star scouts can in reality go out and find players that would actually be decent in the Championship, let alone down here in League 2, and certainly not really viable for ourselves right now. So what I've done is I've tanked the youth scout's ability, meaning that he should find players that are roughly on our level coming into the team, and the potentials won't be at such a high range either. But don't get me wrong, there will still be some diamonds in the rough. But I want this thing to be a real challenge, not some easy walk in the park like some YouTubers churn out. So I really do hope you'll stick around, because I think this is going to be a really big challenge, and a fun one at that. And what you'll also notice about the scouts is that I've expanded the age range at which the players can be found at, so we can actually find players between 14 and 21, whereas currently in a vanilla career mode you would only be able to find players between 15 and 18. I just think that that is more realistic, certainly at a team at our level. And then when you get to the scouts themselves, I've even made them less accessible, because to be honest, again, I think that that is something that is really overpowered. I'm never quite sure as to why a League 2 team should be able to afford a 5-star scout straight out of the gate. So as you can see here, I've made things a little less affordable. The other thing about this series is that I want you guys to be involved as much as possible, and as such, here's our first order of business. I'm going to bring in one marquee player, and as I've already mentioned, it won't be a Ronaldo or Messi. And because of our budget, we're diving into the free agents list, and I'm hoping to pick up somebody who is going to be like a god amongst men in our squad, but still some way off the type of player that we're going to want when we aim to get promoted. So as you can see here, I have collected a list of 6 players. I'm going to post a poll up on Twitter once this video goes live, and the first poll will decide which position we hone in on. So the first of our candidates in defence is Ashley Williams, now 35 years of age. The former Welsh internationals had spells with Swansea, which he's probably most well known for, Everton, Stoke, and lastly Bristol City. Could he be the man at the heart of our defence to help keep things shipshape? The other defensive candidate is Wanlo Koulibaly. He's 28 years of age, and for those that watch my Inter Miami series, you'll remember I signed him for them. He's a great marauding left back who can deliver a killer ball into the box. Moving into midfield, and first up we've got Thato Makoke, another player with an international resume, albeit only 4 appearances for South Africa, but he's a versatile player as well, being able to fill in at central defensive midfield, left back and centre mid. And the other midfielder that we've got here on the list is Canadian international Will Johnson, who spent some of his youth in Blackburn's Youth Academy, had a brief spell out in Holland before carving himself out a career in the MLS. And then into the striker role, where we have a battle between the men from Northern Ireland. First up we have Carl Lafferty, who's had a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to where he's played around the world and has 73 international caps to his name. Meanwhile, Liam Boyce, who's a little bit younger, has a great goal tally to his name, mostly scoring goals in Scotland, whilst also being capped 24 times for Northern Ireland. So there we go, 6 players to choose from, broken down into 2 votes. First vote will decide which position we are going to grab one of these players from, and then the second vote will be a direct face-off between those 2 players. And remember, whoever we bring through the door, they are going to be a club legend. So choose carefully and get your votes in over the coming days. Anyway, that's some of the admin of this series out of the way, and I think it's about time we get into some of the action. Let's kick things off with the pre-season tournament, which we really need to do well in because we need to bank some cash. But I'm not quite sure where we'll sit in relation to the other teams in the tournament. In this tournament, we'll face off against teams from the Irish League, so they aren't too big a challenge for us at this stage, but they still should have a fairly decent advantage over us in terms of their overall ratings. For anybody that's new around here, I don't commentate on the games during a pre-season tournament. This is just a montage with some bed music underneath. I'll catch you on the other side of these games. Let's see how we get on. So there we go then, guys. As you can tell, it is going to be a massive challenge with this squad going forward because of that overall rating. I think we did a really good job though, to be fair, to get as far as we did in that pre-season tournament, and that has only meant that we've got the kind of funds we need to keep the Youth Academy Scout busy in the first few months of this career mode series. For this episode I was playing on Legendary just to get used to the players. As from next episode I will be using Paulv2k4's gameplay mod 2, and that should make things pretty interesting. So I hope you'll join me for that grind. Don't forget to go and check out the polls over on my Twitter page, the first of which should be up shortly after this episode has premiered. And if you have enjoyed this first episode of the #United Career Mode, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you know when the content next drops. Plan is to have 2 of these episodes per week until such point that we've got more modding tools available to us, because I've got another series planned that should be absolutely massive too. But before we go, I just want to say a huge thanks to Arunaktu and Paulv2k4, who are putting in the hard yards at the moment to give us the type of tools we need to be able to mod this year. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'm out of here.